Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. Excuse me. You tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast, where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. Before we get into the good stuff, make sure that you are following and listening to us and getting all our information from all our socials on Instagram and Twitter at ViewerAnonPod, on Facebook, VA Pod Watch Group, on YouTube, Viewers Anonymous, and make sure you sign up for our Patreon. Catch all our behind-the-scenes episodes at patreon.com/Viewers Anonymous. And if you are listening to this, please make sure you go to Spotify and follow us on Spotify. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you could watch the episode, listen to the episodes on Spotify. You can watch us there and you can listen to us there as well. We need to get our Spotify followership up. So please, if you are a fan of the show, make sure you go to Spotify and hit that follow. What's up, man?
Man, I'm grateful to be back in the lab, man. Looking forward to this episode. This is something we've been talking about behind the scenes for a while. It's finally came.
Mm-hmm.
And but other than that though, man, life-wise, man, I mean, I'm good, man. You know, just trying to finish up this Christmas for the boys. You know what I'm saying? I also got a birthday to prepare for. You know, my youngest boy, you know what I'm saying, birthday's on Christmas Eve. Feel bad for him that he got a man, but see, this is the thing though. Like, so I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, do something for his birthday this weekend. So it kind of sucks to never really do like stuff on your birthday because his birthday Christmas Eve and all, but like so I'm trying to do some stuff, you know what I'm saying, special for him or whatnot. But how about you though, man? How you feeling?
Man, I'm straight. Everything is pretty much going according to plan, man. You know, just same thing you doing, trying to get these Christmas gifts ready and getting ready for that. Outside of that, man, I'm enjoying life, bro.
That's what's up, man. Glad to hear it, man.
Yes, sir, man. All right, so today's episode is on the HBO. Well, I'm so confident.
I know it's hard not to say it.
Yeah, it's on the Max miniseries, The Penguin. It dropped this year. It is a spinoff of the Batman movie that was released in 2022. It is starring Colin Ferrell, Christine Melody, Renzi Feliz, Theo Rossi is in it, DJ O'Connell, Carmen Ejogo. I think that's how you say it. Clancy Brown, Michael Kelly, and a host of other people as well. And it basically follows the ascension of the Penguin in Gotham's underworld. So, yeah, I think that's a good description. Okay, so
I was thinking so.
Okay, cool. So, okay, all right. So, real quick, I was confused when I was watching this show.
Okay.
Because I was trying to figure out what the timeline of this show was. So much so that I had to go back and rewatch the Batman film. And rewatching the Batman, I realized that this show is either at the same time of the Batman film or like right after the Batman film.
Yeah, it would have to be because it couldn't be before because like when they blew up, you know what I'm saying, half of the city and shit.
Exactly.
It would have been in the Batman movie.
Right.
Or at least the rubble and the, you know, all the damages and all that type stuff because it's gonna take a while to rebuild that shit.
And the flood was also in the show. So
exactly.
All right, cool. So not my only beef, but my main beef with this is the fact that we'll get into that later. I don't want to get right into that.
Okay.
I first want to say this. Let's start with some flowers. Let's start with some love. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like Joe Budden say, let's start with love. I think we got the power to grow. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because this is not a bad show. I don't want anybody, you know what I'm saying, to hear me and think that I don't think that the show is good or I think that the show is bad. This is an amazing show. You know what I'm saying? The show is fire. You know what I'm saying, me watching this and seeing that basically this is you know what I'm saying, this is just a story about Oswald Cobb and you know what I'm saying, him being a part of one of the biggest mafia families in Gotham and pretty much him doing everything that he needs to do, even if it means working with, you know what I'm saying, somebody that he don't want to work with, you know what I mean? Even if it means taking on and mentoring somebody that he don't want to mentor. He's doing everything that he needs to do to survive in this, you know what I'm saying, in this world of like dog eat dog. Yeah. And he's always at a disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? He's not the most in shape person. He's not the prettiest person. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody who truly gets it out the mud no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Also with him having a dark past that we find out later on in the show with, you know what I'm saying, some things that happened during his childhood. So he's always, you know what I'm saying, he's always on the bad part of the fork in the road. He's always on the bad lane in the fork in the road. And I'm, you know what I'm saying, sitting here watching this, and it's funny because when you watch something and you get a character to grow on you and you get a character to really, you know, especially with Colin Ferrell doing as great as a job as he did, you start to fall in love with the character and you find yourself rooting for the character. No matter, you know what I'm saying, no matter the fact that this dude really is a criminal, this dude is really a bad guy. We forget that this dude is a villain sometimes in this show. So I think they did a great job with that, with us, you know what I'm saying, like falling in love with the Penguin and getting to know him and who he is, what he went through, stuff like that. I thought they, you know, they really did a great job with the story on this.
And I also think that there are a lot of similarities with Oswald Cobb and Tony Soprano.
Oh, talk
so like, so hear me out, right? So the relationship with his mom. Mm-hmm. Tony had a very, very fucked up relationship with his mom. True. Right? Now, Oswald, in all actuality, he did too, but I guess because I'm not a doctor, I don't know if she had dementia, I don't know if it was schizophrenia. Mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily sure what she necessarily had, but because she had that, she would go in and out, and then there was times when she hated him, and there would be times where she liked him. Right. So their relationship kind of went in and out, and he also dealt with the trauma from dealing with shit with his moms and his siblings from back in the past, and it was the same shit with Tony Soprano, where he had some shit with his siblings, you know what I'm saying, in the past that you would see in fucking Many Saints of Newark. So, but then you also got this mafia part of it, you know what I'm saying, being part of certain families and stuff like that.
The Carmines and the Falcones.
Yeah. And so, you know, he started out at, you know, Oswald started out as being a driver, all this type of shit, you know what I'm saying, found a way to work himself up. Now, this is different for Tony. Tony was fucking appointed being like the head of the Soprano family and all this shit like that. But he also had to deal with like his uncle who felt like he was skipped over and all this shit. But anyway, yeah, because I remember you telling me, you was like, yo, like you were a few episodes in and then you had kind of stopped watching it, and you was like, this was kind of like, you know, was giving you like Soprano vibes. And I was like, all right, that's what made me want to, I was like, well, let me jump on it because I haven't started it yet. So like when I started watching it, I see the angle that they tried to take, because even when you go back like you did, it's funny that you say that because I was watching the Batman before we started doing this. Right. So I had went back as well. But like when you see like Falcone and him owning the club and doing the things that he's doing and stuff like that. It's kind of like it's giving you this point of view of like, and this another thing that made me say it reminded me of Tony Soprano was it's giving you that point of view from the person that really supposed to be the bad guy,
right?
Where you find yourself rooting for him, because Tony Soprano was the same way.
Exactly.
It's like this dude, he murders people, he cheats on his wife all the time, he snaps at the drop of a dime. But like there's something like anytime he's in like a crucial situation, it's like, fuck, man, I hope he find a way to make it out of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a different type of intrigue that you get from like certain characters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what had me so stuck on Soprano. Because remember, I told you I watched that shit twice in full, 7 episodes twice.
Right.
In a year span, I ended up watching that shit 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just something so intriguing about this person that's like, yo, this dude is an asshole, but it's something that draws you in. And I think that Colin Farrell found a way to do this shit with the Penguin character. Because even in the Batman movie, you know what I'm saying, Falcone's supposed to be the guy. But when the Penguin was on the screen, he found a way to pop out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, and dude is a great actor. I forget his fucking name, man.
Who played Falcone?
Yeah,
that's
because they got a different actor in the Penguin show. I'm talking about the dude that played Falcone in
the Batman.
In the movie.
He's his name is oh my god, I can't believe I'm about to say Sal. It's not Sal. It's
yeah, he's Sal in fucking I'm finna say He Got Game.
No, he's Sal's son and Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing. Yes.
Yeah.
But
John Turturro. That's my guy.
Yes, John Turturro.
That's my guy.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like it gives you, to me, it gives you that mafia vibe with a DC movie. You know what I'm saying? And you get the Batman, which is, you know what I'm saying, give you the comic book shit. So I think it's a great mixture of how they did it, because I don't know, man. Now we didn't get the Batman in this, but I'm saying like I was talking about the movie.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's where I disagree. That's where I disagree with you.
Okay.
None of this shit is the comic book shit. None of this shit
is
the comic book
not
shit.
The Penguin. I was talking about the Batman
too. The Batman is a crime drama. The Batman is not a superhero movie.
No, not at all.
Movie. You know what I'm saying? And this is where my beef comes in. I'm glad you set me right up. Do the alley-oop off the backboard to me, Vince Carter style. You feel me? Because I was waiting to come in with it, but you got me one. So this is where my beef is with this new Batman and the Penguin. Albeit they are great film and show respectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is, to me, I feel like this is the best I've seen DC.
Okay.
With all the attempts that we've seen over the years, this is the best that I've seen DC. I'm really excited to see what they have coming forward, especially with what's his name coming over? Dude that used to be at Marvel. I forgot what his name is, but he used to be at Marvel. He's over at DC now, right?
What, is it Russo?
No, it's not Russo.
Okay,
it's the dude before Russo. I forgot what his name is. But basically, with the Batman is not necessarily. I mean, it is comic book because it's Batman. It is superhero because it's Batman, but it's more so crime drama, right? And I think that's what the director wanted to do with this film. I think that his whole thing was he wanted this to be not necessarily like the Batmans we've seen before, because even with Christopher Nolan's Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was still, you know, it was still Batman, but it was still comic book. You feel what I'm saying? You had Ra's al Ghul, you had, Bane in there, the one with the Joker, and you know what I'm saying. You got Batman with all these gadgets and doing Batman shit that we used to seeing Batman doing. We used to seeing Batman fight crime. And this one, he wasn't necessarily fighting crime. They focused on him being the detective more than they did him being the superhero, which to me, I enjoyed that a little bit, but for me, it was too much. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we have action scenes in there because you got to have action scenes as Batman. But it's like it gets to a point to where they're trying to like do the real life versions of, you know what I'm saying, superheroes. Like, to me, this movie is what Batman would be like in real life. Like, if this shit was real, like if Gotham City, Gotham City is real, but if it was like really Gotham City and not New York, and then like, you know what I'm saying, Batman is running around doing all this shit and working with the police, that's what the Batman showed. That's what this would be like. If the Penguin was a real person in real life and Gotham had the underworld, and you know what I'm saying, this is what the Penguin would be in real life. So to me, it's a little too realistic for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Yeah.
with the Penguin, that's why I said I enjoyed the Penguin for the storyline, and I appreciated everything that they did. The actors were phenomenal and all that stuff. They did a great job. But at what point do we really see this nigga like really be what the Penguin is supposed to be? And I know that recently DC had just changed over and did the new 52. So I'm assuming that they kind of taking it from those storylines more so than they did with the older, you know what I'm saying, versions of the DC comics. But it's like, yo, like this nigga is he really the Penguin in this shit, or is he Oswald Cobb? You know what I'm saying? Because like even when they was calling him the Penguin, he was like, yeah, don't call me that shit. So it's like we know this character is supposed to be the Penguin.
Yeah.
When we watch the Batman, we know that that's supposed to be the Riddler. But even then, like his name was like Edward Nash Thorne or some shit like that. When really his name is supposed to be Edward Nigma. You know what I'm saying? Oswald Cobb is supposed to be Oswald Cobblepot. You know what I'm saying? The original Penguin is like this rich kid or this this guy who grew up in a rich family. He's like in one of the richest families in Gotham. You know what I'm saying? So it was a different take on this one, because with this Penguin, we don't see him being this rich guy who comes up and he got all this money. You know what I'm saying? Like he's basically the ruler. We see him coming up through. Was it the Falcons or the Carmine? I want to say he was.
He worked with both, but he
was Falcon though, right?
Yeah, he was Falcon because remember he was driving Sophia around before she got locked up.
And then he was dealing with Falcon's son and everything else. So he was like basically like an underboss to Falcon. And it was a different spin on it, and I get what they try to do. They try to make it a fresh story and everything else like that. So you got to kind of like give it a chance for sure. You know what I'm saying? You got to give it a chance. That way you can kind of see what they're doing with it. But at the same time, it's like, at what point do we get the comic book shit? At what point do the fans actually get to enjoy what they're really here for? Because if you just take this and if you name it, you can take away the Penguin name and just call it Cobb, and it'll be the same fucking thing. And we never mention Penguin, and it's just this dude named Oswald Cobb who just finds his way through you know what I'm saying? Like, this can be a standalone show that was just created, and nobody would ever link this shit to Batman. You don't even have to call it Gotham. You could just call it New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can really make this outside of DC. And another thing that really bothered me, through all this shit that's happening in Gotham, shit blowing up, motherfuckers is dealing out drugs, niggas is overdosing. You know what I'm saying? It's all kind of crime running through the city. The cops is on overtime like a motherfucker. Where the fuck was Batman? They didn't even mention this nigga in the show. He's already had an interaction with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck was that about?
Okay, so I got a rebuttal.
Okay.
So I hear what you're saying by everything sounding, well, not sounding, looking more realistic. Names are a little bit different. He didn't really want to go by the penguin and all this type of shit.
Right.
And you were saying that like you just feel that it's a little bit too realistic, but not really comic book like. Maybe they're trying. So one thing that I'm pretty sure that's going on at DC is they're listening to what people are saying. And this is what I mean. Like, so Marvel had went on this run. I feel like it's kind of dying down a little bit because I think that they this multi-universe thing is just really kind of getting out of control, and like the shows aren't really hitting. Like I hate to say this, but
Agatha all alone was fire.
I only watched one episode.
It was great.
But I think that they're listening and it's like, look, we took the comic book route. And you know, when you go back, you look at Batman Forever, you know what I'm saying? Like all these attempts that they've done. And I'll tell you one show that I don't know how well it did to the public, but Gotham, right? It came on Fox. It used to come on Fox.
It was a great show.
That show was more on the realistic side of the young Batman, right? And Detective Gordon and all this type shit. The Riddler working at the fucking police station, all this type shit.
Right.
I'm thinking they took the route of like, look, we tried it the other way and we kept failing. You know, when it comes to Superman, we failing. You know what I'm saying? Like DC just ain't really making that turn. And really the only person that really got it to really flip was Christopher Nolan. Now, if you think about the Christopher Nolan movies, they're kind of realistic too. They're more crime dramas if you think about it. The version of Joker that we got, you know what I'm saying? Bane, like everything was more on that realistic side. So I think that they kind of took the look that Christopher Nolan took. That was like, all right, we're gonna do this, but we also like, so the people that we're gonna do, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna do the Riddler, we're gonna do the Penguin, we're gonna give you a little bit of I think that one dude that was in Arkham was supposed to have been the Joker. That we got like a tiny little. Oh, okay. That's why I said I think.
Okay, so real quick, I think that's either Victor Zsasz or that's the Scarecrow.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying. We also get this other origin story on Sophia. Now I don't think Sophia is necessarily anybody, but I don't know if maybe in the future, because the only other female that I know is Poison Ivy. Now I don't know if when she go back to Arkham, I don't know if maybe they're gonna flip her into that. I don't know, because like I said, I'm not into the comic books like you are. I don't know any other females.
Poison Ivy is a doctor. Like,
okay,
yeah, she's a botanist. But she's not. She won't be Poison Ivy. Like she won't be Poison Ivy. She won't be Harley Quinn. She won't be Catwoman. None of that shit. Like she's a standalone character.
Okay, because like I said, she got a lot of shit. Now I don't know if it's because this girl did a phenomenal job playing Sophia. I don't know what it was. But anyway, the point that I'm making is I think that they looked at the show Gotham and also what Christopher Nolan was doing and started making this shit more realistic and turning it more into something that's more feasible. Like I said, even the Batmobile. Yeah. I mean, that bad boy was like a souped up fucking old Charger or some shit. Like it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Even the his motorcycle. It was a regular type of motorcycle. So I think that they're going more with the realistic shit because it's like, all right, we tried to go the fantasy route and it's not selling for people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that giving us this type of version when it comes to the Penguin, and like I say, I'm gonna tell you what I think is interesting. This is something that I heard. So Colin Farrell had to go like in, I don't know, 4 hours early, whatever.
Yeah,
To do the bodysuit and the makeup and all that type shit. From what I heard, he ain't like that shit. Like it got to the point where he was like, yo, this is a little too much to be doing a character type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting, the reason I say that is, obviously, if they do the Batman movie,
mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he'll come back for that. I'm not sure if he's going to come back for season 2.
I hope not.
Because I think that he would be like, look, because if you think, it was 10 episodes, I think? 10 or 8 episodes, that's 10, 8 hours of, that's just content that we're getting. We don't know how much they're actually filming. So he might be like, yo, I ain't trying to do all of this fucking bodysuit and makeup and all this type of shit over again. So I think that we're going to see him again, but I think the role that he will play in the Batman movie, I think it's going to be interesting because the whole mafia thing that they added into this, I personally think it was a good spin.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it, but like I said, I saw some similarities between him and Tony Soprano, so that's another reason why I really fuck with it. But I'm not mad at the thing because another thing is I know that some people watch, especially when it comes to Marvel, DC, and stuff like that, they watch movies for an escape. Like I want to escape from regular life type shit. I want to see some action. I want to see some stuff blowing up, all this type of shit. Right. And I think that people do want an escape, but I'm not mad at some shit that could be real realistic because I like the detective version of the Batman. I fucked with that. And I remember when we did the movie, I was saying that like I thought that us seeing a version of Batman where he's actually being a detective and actually working alongside Gordon, other than just doing little side shit for Gordon, like he was actually like the movie show you him walking in and this cop standing there looking at him and like why you letting him in here type of shit.
Yeah.
See, when in other movies, he's just kind of meeting up with Gordon and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wasn't really fucking with the whole police station. So I don't know, man. I think that's something that I really appreciated, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
the realistic part.
And I can see why people who watch it would like that. And I'm sure that there's plenty of comic book fans out there that see it and they like it as well. To me, I just think that it kind of takes away a little bit from the comic book aspect, right? And I think that's really why we watch these movies. If you know what I'm saying, just being honest, I think that's why we watch these movies about Superman or Batman, and they can continue making them, and even though they fail, they can continue coming back with them because we know that this is something that not only a lot of us grew up with, but the fact of this is a comic book film, and we know that anything is bound to happen in these films, right? We know that anything is bound to happen. The one thing, like I said, I don't like the fact that it's a little too real because that to me it takes away from that aspect. It takes away a lot that you can bring into a film and a lot that you could do in a film when everything is just these are just regular motherfuckers who just just so happen to one nigga dressed up as a bat. This other nigga, they call this nigga a penguin because he waddle and he big like a penguin or he built like a penguin or whatever. You take away from the aspect because if you watched anything before, like when the old version with Danny DeVito, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When he had the umbrella and the umbrella shot the gun and just that type of shit. You miss out on all of the extra things that you can add to a film by doing this, right? Now, what I do look forward to is if they do another Batman film, how do they go on with a new story with this, right? Like, so for instance, it's a possibility that we can get characters that we usually don't ever see in the Batman universe, or yeah, we're in the Batman universe when we see Batman films, right? So like you might be able to get a chance to see Victor Zsasz. You might be able to get a chance to see Black Mask. You know what I'm saying? We might even get a chance to see um, a different version of a Joker. You know what I'm saying? You might get a chance to see Calendar Man. You know, you might get a chance to start seeing some of these characters that have been in Batman lore that we don't really get a chance to see anywhere else, right? Because it's, for the most part, if you look at the villains that Batman has, Batman don't really got like no wild ass villains. The villains that he got are like fucking maniacs. And I think that's why the whole Arkham thing, it works a lot, because these are just regular people who have went off their fucking rocker. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at the Batman and then you look at what the Riddler did, the Riddler was doing, he was basically doing like some Zodiac shit. You know what I'm saying? He was killing people and sending puzzles and shit to the police. That's basically some Zodiac shit, right? You look at the Penguin. The Penguin is just like you said, it's Tony Soprano. So you're gonna find people who are gonna love these, but only because that they remind you of these things that you know have happened or already happened, or it's something that's relatable in this content. So I do know that people are gonna like that. Going to your point about how Nolan added a little reality to some of these movies, right? Nolan definitely did that, but he did it to a point to where it felt real, but you still knew it was a comic book film. You know what I'm saying? In Batman, and what was it? Batman Begins, when you know what I'm saying, he's with Ra's al Ghul and he's, you know, he learning how to, you know what I'm saying, do all the stuff with Ra's al Ghul or whatever, and he's getting trained and all this other stuff. You understand that you understand that he's becoming this character who we're going to eventually see defend Gotham. And as realistic as it is, we know that ain't no fucking ninjas rolling around, bro. And if it is, then they ain't doing the shit that they doing in Batman Begins. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it still has that realism in it, right? When you go to, you know what I'm saying, The Dark Knight, the Joker, for all intents and purposes, is just a maniac. But it doesn't take away from the comic book feel of the film, right? It's still realism there, but it don't take away from the fact that, you know what I'm saying, that this is the fucking Joker, right? This is the more menacing, violent part of the Joker that we haven't really seen, but this is the Joker. And we seeing Batman have to defend Gotham from the Joker. Then you see, you see the situation with Bane. They changed Bane up a little bit. Bane is supposed to be from South America. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to have a venom, but when he get the venom, he get bigger and stronger. But this time they had a mask on him. The venom was in the mask, which, you know what I'm saying, he was going through some stuff, so it kind of helped level him out, and you know what I'm saying, with his pain and everything else like that. But even in Dark Knight Rises, Bane was doing shit like he was punching niggas in the chest and they was dying. Or like he was picking niggas up, slamming them, and they snapped in half. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it was still that comic book feel to it with realism, though. You know what I'm saying? Like them taking the, you know what I'm saying, the Batman storyline where Bane breaks the bat. Like even that part of it is still realistic. Like it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying, this nigga Batman was jumping off of the wall and throwing batarangs at this nigga. Nah, he was just using normal shit, throwing smoke on the ground. You know what I'm saying? They hand-to-hand combat. He wasn't using no, you know what I'm saying, like no magic or nothing, but it was realistic and it was still a part of that comic book feel. When you watch the Batman, and I feel like there were some things in Nolan's films too where he was doing a little bit of the detective work, not as much as this one, but it was some stuff we seen where he was kind of doing some detective work. And this one though, it's like that's all this nigga is the detective. And when he's fighting, he's not fighting like regular motherfuckers. He just fighting like grunt niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like he go in the club, this nigga fighting bouncers. This nigga's like this nigga Batman's a fucking he's a fucking 10-time jiu-jitsu black belt. This nigga was trained by the Shadow League, the League of Shadows. Like this nigga is a fucking weapon. He's a walking weapon, and he in the fucking club fighting bouncers to get to fucking Oswald Cobb. Come on, man. First and foremost, when the nigga knocked on the door and he said, I'm here to speak to whoever he was speaking to, Oswald, whoever he was trying to speak to, and the nigga had on the bat suit. Dude just stood there. Nigga closed the door. Who was opening the door for a nigga dressed up as a bat? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just this nigga is walking into
a rave party
every day. Yeah, he walking into everyday establishments dressed up as a bat, and niggas is just watching them walk past like this is normal. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, come on, man. Like, that's not odd to know. Nobody looked at that and was like, "Hey, man, look at this nigga." Nobody said none of that shit. He walking through the crowd. They all still dancing and shit. Like, come on, bro. Like, what the fuck is going on? So it's just. I don't know, man. I feel like you can still have that comic book element to it because I think, like you said, the Nolan films, bro. That's peak Batman, bro. Like, to get to that, godly, that shit was masterful. So I feel like this, like I said, the Batman film is not bad. The Penguin show is not bad. It's just the fact of it's a lot to be desired. That's what I want to say. That's what I'm trying to get to. It's a lot to be desired. So in Penguin, you know what I'm saying? In the film, they showed where Riddler had blew up the levees and all that, and the city started flooding, right? Well, in Penguin, we see the scene where Victor is talking to his girlfriend, and they see all these explosions, and the next thing you know, they just see water flooding through the city because they sitting at the rooftop. So now we know, now we can kind of see where this, you know, so like where all of this culminates in this Batman universe, right? We see that. And then I guess after everything is done or whatever, you know, they go on about their life and now Victor is out on his own. He running with like gangs and shit like that. And he ends up with the Penguin and they out here doing all this crime. Now, between that and when he's out here running with Oz, right? Oz don't never mention the Batman. This nigga don't never mention Gordon. This nigga don't never mention shit. So like, where are all these characters that we've seen him have it? Because he had an interaction with the Batman. The Batman chased him down. The Batman literally chased him down. You know what I'm saying? We seen Falcone in the film. I think Falcone dies.
The Riddler shot him.
Right.
When they was taking him out to arrest him.
So the son is the one that's in charge after that, right?
Yeah.
He dies in the show. Okay. Yep. And then now Sophia is the head of the Falcone family. The Carmines are still running. The Riddler, the Penguin don't talk about nothing that happened with Batman. This nigga just back in action. Didn't he get locked up in the film?
No, he didn't get locked up. But remember, he gave Gordon and Batman some information. Mm-hmm. So he might have never brought Batman up because he don't want nobody to know that he snitched. Because he snitched in this movie.
He definitely did. He definitely did. No, I'm not saying bring Batman up. I'm saying not like that. I'm saying bring Batman up like, hey man, we gotta go do such and such and such. All right, cool, but we gotta make sure we get in and out because you know that crazy bat motherfucker is running around. Like they ain't even say that.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the show, to show the bat signal, Where the fuck was he when shit was exploding? Where the fuck was he when his big ass when they blew up the fucking underground lab or whatever? You feel what I'm saying? The whole shit was Gotham was in chaos. We didn't hear about the Batman once.
This is true. And I don't know if this was a thing where, you know, they didn't want to bang Robert Pattinson into it. I don't know if it was something where, you know, they told Colin Ferrell, look, this is about you. This show was about, you know what I'm saying, Oswald. Now, yeah, Sophia, she became a very important person to the show as well. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it was a thing where it was supposed to be centered around him. And I don't know if it's like when he does come back in the Batman 2 movie or whatever they call it. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a situation where honestly, I think it was because we didn't get any type of backstory about the Penguin in the movie.
But this ain't a backstory.
No, yeah, this is not a backstory, but they give us some backstory.
Right.
They show us, you know, when he was going to the movies with his siblings and they died and all that type of shit. They go back to where he was just a driver for Sophia.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before he, you know, had his come up. So they gave us flashes of his upbringing and that whole conversation that he had with his moms, where he was like, yo, I'm gonna get you, you know what I'm saying, an apartment with a great view. I'm gonna get you this, I'm gonna get you that. And he was like, don't you believe me, mom, and all this type of shit, because he was another guy similar to Tony Soprano, where he wanted his mom's love, he wanted his mom's approval, but could never get that shit. No matter what the fuck they did, they never got it.
Speaking of, he was a piece of shit because the apartment that he had, he could have moved his mom in that apartment, bro. Or he could have got her a better apartment, my nigga.
Well, she had a house.
She could have had a better house. Nigga, she ain't have no power. They was running a generator in that motherfucker because he wasn't paying the bills.
Wait a minute. Are you sure that wasn't when they moved her out of her house because he thought that they was going to kill her? Ooh, I thought she had power in her house.
Right. You are right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he took her out of there. And the reason, because Victor, so when Oswald fucked up and he was like, yo, they're going to be coming after my mom, he told Victor, yo, get my mom and just take her somewhere. And he was like, where you want me to take her? He would basically like figure it out. So Victor was like, all right, I'm going to take you back to my neck of the woods, but it ain't no power out there. And, you know, when all that type shit.
When he could have took his mom to his apartment, like I said, like, come on, bro.
Well, I don't think he wanted him to go to his apartment because Sophia knew where he stayed, or at least could have found out where he stayed. But that's when Sophia went to his girl. And yeah, I think he went to the girl first, and that's how she ended up finding out where he stayed at.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I thought that was another, and that goes to the realistic part, like you was talking about.
Yeah.
When you look at the Penguin, this motherfucker ain't gonna be pulling a lot of, you know what I'm saying, baddies or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's ugly, scratched up face, you know what I'm saying? He got limp, all this fucked up leg shit.
Right.
So he had to be messing with a prostitute. That's the only way Penguin's gonna be getting something out here in these streets, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because the new Penguin, the old Penguin had hoes. Nigga was rich. You know what I'm saying? Like that's another thing to me that was like it. Like I think I understand what they're trying to do with this iteration of Batman, right? I think that they feel like it's a more gripping and it's a more immersive world just inside of Gotham, because I think that's what they really trying to do is just do the whole Gotham thing for real. Right, like you mentioned the show that they had on Fox, which was amazing. They had a young Bruce Wayne, they had a young Selena Kyle, they had, like you said, they had Edward Nygma working in the police department,
police station,
and they had all of these other different characters, but they were all in different roles, right? And like Jim Gordon is older than Batman in this one, but he older than Batman to the point to where like You know what I'm saying? Like he young, but cause like he not the commissioner yet. He like Detective Gordon and shit like that. So I did appreciate that. I thought that was dope. I thought that was a good way to show the Batman story, but also just focus on Gotham as a whole. Because really, it was about Jim Gordon. It really wasn't about Batman. You know what I'm saying? That show at least was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in Penguin, I think that what they're really trying to do is they're trying to give it a fresh take because, like I said, there's so many more characters that you can pick from Batman's rogue gallery to where you don't have to have like he don't have to fight like a Killer Croc. He don't have to fight like all of these people that you'll have to do the CGI or the super makeup with and all that. It's just he could fight Victor's ass. You know what I'm saying? He could fight Calendar Man. I mean, shit, it's a possibility we could even see a Mr. Freeze in this Batman universe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We could see a Poison Ivy. We can see the Joker and Harley Quinn team up for a change. Like it's a lot of different routes you can go because even in the Nolan Batman and Dark Knight, remember Joker was talking to the mafia families and the gangs that was in Gotham. So I mean, like you can take that route. It works. We've seen it work. It's not like you know what I'm saying. It's not going to work. I just think this one is a little bit. That's why I said I think the realism in this one is just a little bit too much, to the point to where like you're gonna have to depend on these characters in order to tell these Batman stories more so than you know what I'm saying. Like just throwing it in as an addition to what the Batman story could be, right? Because like. With this whole Penguin thing that we have with the show, you have all of these characters where you know what I'm saying, and it's a lot of Easter eggs in the show too. But you have all these characters where, like for instance, Theo Rossi playing Dr. Julian Rush, he could easily be Scarecrow, even though Scarecrow's real name is Jonathan Crane, but he could easily be Scarecrow. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But in this one, like I said, Oswald Cobb is really supposed to be Oswald Cobblepot. But you know what I'm saying, they shorten names. Like a lot of this stuff, they're changing names. I'm trying to think. Like Victor, we see Victor get killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or did we see Victor really get killed though?
That's a good discussion because I didn't think about it that way. I mean, is it something that I could see Victor coming back to where he kind of pulled back, but they don't show us like he, you know, it showed him kind of lay him to the ground softly and kind of walk away, but like the camera really never go back to Victor.
Exactly.
So that's a good point. I didn't think about it that way, but I also understood why he felt he needed to possibly kill him if he did kill him, for the simple fact of he's seen all of his vulnerable side. You know what I'm saying? He also to quote unquote be the man. Like you can't be, you know what I'm saying? Like there can't be a lot of love in this business of being like that top guy. Like there ain't no showing you no sympathy because you know you lost everything, Victor. So I'm gonna show you sympathy. He's like, nah, like you can't have any, you know what I'm saying, emotional attachments to people. And he had an emotional attachment to Victor. As hard as he tried to act, even when Victor was in the bathroom contemplating if he wanted to leave with that girl or not.
Right.
Like Oswald went at him hard. Didn't I do this for you? Didn't I do this for you? Like leave, whatever. And then he came back. He was like, yo, I knew you would come back type of shit. Like he never wanted Victor to leave. He would have been fucking butthurt if Victor would have left.
Absolutely.
But he knew how to kind of talk to Victor to kind of get him to contemplate, like, you know, if I leave, you know, Oz is going to be in a bad spot. But anyway, that's a great point. to be presumed to be dead.
Mm-hmm. And he comes back as Victor Zsasz.
I didn't think about that.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, a lot of these characters is possible that they can eventually transform into the characters that we know from the Batman lore and the Rogue Gallery and all that stuff. These are it's possibilities that we see this. But the one thing I did want to talk about was how they made us fall in love with this character who ultimately is a villain, right? We all know the Penguin to be a villain. He's in the Rogue Gallery for Batman. We know that this is one of the guys Batman used to fight, all this other stuff. They made us fall in love with him by putting him in these situations to where we end up cheering for him. We end up, like you said earlier, we hoping that he gonna get out this situation and all of these things. But the reality of it all is this dude is only out for himself.
Oh my God. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, even though, like how you said, like he had love for Victor, right? Like he had a soft spot for Victor somewhere in there. But at the same time, if you really pay attention to it, it's not really a soft spot. He's really using Victor. He's manipulating Victor throughout this whole situation by using him as somebody to pretty much be like his flunky. You know what I'm saying? When he's dealing with Sophia, he has a relationship prior to Sophia getting out and coming back and finding out what's going on with the family, but he's even manipulating her. You know what I'm saying? He manipulated the situation by going to Carmine to the, to the Carmines and doing everything that he was doing with them. You know what I'm saying? Making them work, against, well, they always worked against each other, but having them go against each other and, having the war. He did the same thing with the, what was dude? He wasn't a mayor. He was
Chinese.
What was he? Dude that was in the city hall or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Where they was talking about the election and he was talking about the politician dude, whoever he was. He manipulated him to do some stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? So his whole thing was just, surviving throughout this whole situation of, I have to make my way to the top, but I got to do what I have to do to get there. That means if I got to stab, burn, kill everybody in the way, I'm going to do it. It may not be the prettiest way. It may not be the toughest way, but it's going to happen to where I'm getting everybody out of my way and I'm getting to the point to where I'm now going to be the head of the, like the head of the crime family in Gotham. I'm going to be a boss in Gotham. Basically, that's what he was saying.
Yeah, and that dude. Another thing that I noticed about Oswald is when you look at, you take the Joker from the Nolan movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
As much as he tried to sit there and say, "I don't have a plan," like. So when he was talking to, the dude he turned into Two-Face,
Harvey Dent.
So when he was talking to Harvey Dent, he was like, I'm like a dog chasing after such and such. I don't know what I'm going to do when I bite it. Get that bullshit the fuck out of here. Joker was calculated with what he was doing.
Absolutely.
You look at the Riddler from the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Very fucking calculated at what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Oswald, hey, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to work with Sophia. Okay, shit ain't going well over here. So he's like, all right, so I'm going to steal this drug from her. But then I need, you know what I'm saying? What's the other family name? Not the Falcons, but the Carmines. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get a deal with them. And then when Sophia found out, oh no, well, Carmine said this. And then he goes back to, he's just all over the place and nothing fucking, he was supposed to have been dead 10 times in this show.
No, I'm tripping. I'm sorry. It's not Carmine. Carmine is Falcone's first name. It's Carmine Falcone. It's the Maroni family.
Maroni. Okay. Maroni.
Sorry. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. My apologies.
Oh no, you good. So like he was going back and forth, and every
Mm-hmm.
time that he would get caught with one person, he would try to flip it and make it seem like it was somebody else.
Right.
In all actuality, it's just like nothing. Even when he finally got that drug with the mushroom shit on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then the shit was all dried out and shit. It's just like nothing is calculated with this guy. It's like
I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. I think it is. I think he's very calculated at what he does. I think he just, like I said, he just happens to get the bad end of the deal every time. Because as calculated as he is, right? Like for instance, the situation with, you know what I'm saying, the situation that he got in with the Maroney and then the Maroney and the Falcone situation. And he was like, oh no, Maroney said such and such and such. That's a calculated move. He knows that there's a chance that Sophia is going to figure out what I'm doing. Because his biggest hurdle is Sophia through all of this. So Sophia is definitely going to figure out what's going on. When she does figure out what's going on, this is what I'm going to tell her. This is how I'm going to get her to forget everything that I'm doing. And it ends up working.
But at the expense of now, you don't have a show if everything goes according to plan.
Of course,
shit gotta fuck up because that's what makes everything entertaining. If every plan worked in every movie, everything would be fucking boring.
That's a 3-minute show.
Yeah. so like I get it, but it just seems like the amount of times that he was captured or supposed to have been shot or supposed to have been killed, like there's no way he was supposed to, you know what I'm saying, squirm his way out of at least 3 of those situations. He was dead to rights.
Exactly.
And
when they had him naked tied up on the chair, I'm like, yeah, he's off. He's done.
Yeah, this is over with. And even when the thing blew up down there, when they blew up the lab, he was supposed to be dead. When they was in a parking lot and Victor saved his ass when he drove the car and wrecked the car he was supposed to be dead, bro. He was supposed to be dead.
When he got shot, when they had his mom, he was supposed to be dead.
Yeah, so it's like I just feel like maybe it's not that they're not calculated. It's just like I just don't think that. I think great word. I think Penguin was impulsive.
Yes, very.
I think he was very impulsive, but I think that when you go back and you look at the Riddler, when you go back and look at the Joker, you go back and you look at because I tell you, Harvey Dent when he turned into Two-Face, very impulsive. Everything was about revenge.
Right.
Like he was just so driven on old girl dying that he just wanted to kill everybody that was involved.
You know what? I hear what you're saying, but I don't necessarily think that it was just old girl dying. I think what happened was so much of the fact that he had so much faith in righting the wrongs in Gotham that finally when it got to him, it got the best of him. Because it was like I've done so much to try to make this city work. I've done so much to turn this city to the, you know what I'm saying, in its rightful place and make sure that, you know what I'm saying, we knock crime down and we get all this other stuff happening. And here I am sitting here, my face is half burnt. We got a vigilante flying through the city that's supposed to be helping that didn't, you know what I'm saying, that wasn't doing the right things. And the person that I love the most ends up dying alongside of the fact that we have a maniac that's running around in the streets that nobody can stop. It's like, am I really the work that I'm doing, is it really doing anything? And I think that he more so lost faith because I think that was the whole point for the Joker was to get him to lose faith. Right, because he was so so enthralled in I can make this work. I can do this. I am the person that's bringing justice to Gotham. I'm doing the right thing, and he has so much faith in that. And it got to a point to where now that you're a victim of it, it's like, yo, did I do anything right? Did any of this shit work? Like, how am I in this position? And in a weird way, I think that's the same thing with Penguin, right? Like he has faith. He has so much faith in himself being this person who can overcome everything, who can you know what I'm saying, he's making all of these promises to his mom, and you know what I'm saying, he has these dreams of being, you know what I'm saying, a big crime boss in Gotham and getting to the top and not having to, you know what I'm saying, not having to be the bootlicker for the Falcone family anymore, and you know, being a guy who had to work his way up the ranks to the point of, I think that when it got to the son dying and Sophia getting there, it was like, yo, I don't think I'm ever going to get to a point to where I'm going to be up here if I don't get rid of the Maronis, if I don't get rid of the Falcones, if I don't get rid of these people aren't going to follow me. And we seen that when they was was it a parking lot or was it a junkyard or wherever they was at?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And he's standing on top of a car or whatever, or box or whatever, and he like, yo, they trying to take everything from you, you know what I'm saying? They look at you like you're not nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is your city, like we need to take this over, we need to take this back. And that's when I think that he finally hit to where Harvey Dent hit and became Two-Face. I think in that moment he becomes Penguin, to where it's like, yo, we not taking nothing else from nobody. If you with me, you with me, and if you not, you got out the way.
True. This is true.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, like it was just so many times where I just felt like if this would have been thought thoroughly, but I also think that what this taught him, I think the next version of him that we get, I think he's going to be way more calculated than before.
Absolutely. I agree.
I think that this was the growing pains of becoming the Penguin.
Absolutely. Because I also look at it as the reason that he didn't get to the point that he wanted to get in this show was because of his selfishness, was because of his impatience. And a lot of times, like you said, his impulsiveness, but also to add, he was short-sighted in a lot of the stuff that he was trying to do too. You know what I'm saying? He was too busy focusing on trying to get the small stuff out the way instead of really focusing on and working on the big picture. And I think that if he had did that, we would have, you know what I'm saying, he could have got to where he needed to be in a quicker fashion.
I agree with that. I do think that he was short, man, because even when he stole those mushrooms and stuff, it was like you didn't have enough supply, and then that stuff took time,
right? And
like he was trying to rush that stuff, and like he would try to sell to this person, try to sell this. It was all over the place. But I also think that now with the show ending the way that it ended, I think that he's going to become a huge fucking threat to Batman.
Absolutely.
In the next one.
Man, listen, if he was doing all that shit in this and the Batman wasn't nowhere around, or the Batman wasn't nowhere to be found, or he didn't intervene at all, he allowed for the Penguin to bubble into what he's going to become. For sure. Because this all could have been prevented had the Batman been there.
Yeah, because how he snitched on people and shit in the Batman, it's gonna be totally different.
Yeah,
it's gonna be totally different because now I think that I don't want to say he's like losing respect for the Batman, but I think that he had a little bit more. I think he kind of feared the Batman a little bit in the movie, but it's like now going through what he went through, I think like, oh yeah, I go toe to toe with this dude now.
Absolutely.
So
I agree.
I'm not mad at it, man. Not mad at it.
That's what's up, man. All right, let's get into the Fire Flames, bro.
Let's do it.
Yoga fire, yoga flame.
All right, so what are you rating this joint?
Like I mentioned before, man, like I think Colin Ferrell did a phenomenal job to the point where we didn't even know it was Colin Ferrell for the most part. Like you would forget that it was him. I think the actress that plays Sophia, I think she killed that shit. Also, man, slept on. Michael Kelly.
Yeah.
He's killing it these days. He
Yes,
killed
he
it in he's killing it in Lioness, and he killed it in this the Penguin joint.
Absolutely.
He's slowly climbing up the list for me, man. Like he's always kind of the same person in a way, but that dude is killing it. So I think the casting was really good. I think they did a good job. But at the end of the day, I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5. And I'm gonna say what you said. It's not bad. It's really a good watch, but there were, like I said earlier, man, it was so many times where he was supposed to have been killed, and it's like, yo, how did he worm his way out of this situation? And you kind of get frustrated because it's like, yo, there was so many opportunities for this dude to be dead and he didn't die.
Right.
But I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Okay. So as much complaining and as much of the the bad that I've seen in this show, I can't honestly say that this is a bad show. I think that the actors all did a great job. Colin Ferrell, salute to him, because man, like you said, with that makeup, the voice, the walk, and everything else, you do tend to forget that he is Colin Ferrell. The guy that plays Victor did a great job. You know what I'm saying? I think that he added a nice element to the show of, in a weird way, I think he was kind of like replacing, not necessarily replacing, but kind of like in that, like a stand-in for Oz's brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like that little brother. He was like that brother that Oz always wanted, right? Like he looked up to Oz. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't leave Oz alone. He did his best to protect Oz. He loved Oz and all that. So I think that he did a great job portraying that role. The mom was great, especially in that last episode where Sophia had brought them together, and she just finally broke down and told him, like, yeah, I know what you did. I thought that was great. I'm gonna go above you, man. I'm going to 4. I was gonna say 4.5, but you gotta have something about the Batman in there. You know what I'm saying? At least you know what I'm saying? At least somebody, spray painting the bat symbol on the walls, or you know what I'm saying, a mention of him, something, bro. Only to have the light at the end, that pissed me off, because I'm like, where the fuck was any of this shit about the Batman in this show for them to put a fucking bat signal up in the air? So I didn't like that. But outside of that, everything else I felt like was great. Like I said, I like where they could go with this, and I like the characters that they could use moving forward. So I'm gonna stay at a 4.
Okay.
All right, man. Let's jump into the coming soon.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
All right. Next episode, man, we're gonna go into a little bit into my wheelhouse, man. We're gonna get into some stuff that I like to talk about. We are gonna get into some conspiracy. We are gonna get into some history. We are gonna get into possibly some comedy, hopefully. But we're talking about Fly Me to the Moon. It's on Apple TV, out right now. If you guys want to go check it out before the episode drops, make sure you go do that. Or if you want to listen to this, if you want to listen to that episode, then go watch it. You are more than welcome to do that as well. But yeah, Fly Me to the Moon. I believe it has Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson in it.
Scarlett Johansson, yeah.
Yes, indeed. I'm definitely gonna be watching.
Woody Harrelson
for sure. Oh, Woody Harrelson is in it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, so it's gonna be a good watch. So I like Woody Harrelson, man. So you guys make sure y'all go check that out. And before we get out of here, please make sure you are following us on our socials. Make sure you are following us on Spotify, listening to us on Spotify, watching us on Spotify. Please. If you are listening to this on Apple or any other podcasting platform, if you have Spotify, go to Spotify, just search Viewers Anonymous and hit that follow button for us, and listen to a few episodes on Spotify. You can actually watch us there too. So if you don't really want to watch us on YouTube because you might be riding home from work or whatever, and you might need to use a GPS, get on Spotify, listen to us. You can watch us there, all that good stuff. We need to get those Spotify numbers up, so please help us out with that. And if you like to follow me, you can follow me on X or Twitter at Scoots Bronson. I got a link tree in my bio. Follow me everywhere else there. Make sure you hit that follow button as well, and let me know that you follow me from Viewers Anonymous.
Bet. So y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram, X, and TikTok. Follow the podcast 28 minutes or less. So all major platforms. Last episode is 161, which is Set It Off. I got some end of the year shit that I always do annually, so be on the lookout for that. Which I'm talking about, top shows of the year, top albums of the year. So all of that stuff will be on the way. So be on the lookout for that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And listen, man, thank you guys so much. Thank you very, very much. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Without you, there could be no us. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Look out for new episodes coming to Patreon very soon. I believe we drop one this week, so look out for that. Also, we're planning to do a live stream on YouTube. So if you're not following us on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you share the videos with your friends and let them know about Viewers Anonymous. But we are planning a live stream here soon. So make sure you are there so you can chat with us, talk to us. Maybe you can talk about, some of your favorite shows and all that other stuff while we're there. And until next time, like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.